first attempt, I made a few mistakes. I spilled water off the side of my measuring tool. I did not add extra dish soap to my measuring tool also, so I could account for the dish soap that would remain on the cup, being that I did not have anything to scrape it off with. And I did not accurately measure my salts, and thus had to put more and less in. The mixing part obviously went quite well. It's not that hard to mix things. And then I picked a nice big strawberry so that I'd be able to get really good data, just because I would have more available. Yes, that meant that I would have to squash or crush more of strawberry, but I also felt as though that would give me more data, so and more DNA, therefore I would have more DNA to extract. So I felt that was a good thing to do. My error I made next was that I completely underestimated and was, not so aware of how my sifter would work size-wise. I had a giant sifter and a very small cup. I did not accurately plan the sizing here, as everything spilled out the side. I had to do some quick cleanup work, and then I tried again. This time around, I decided to put down a dish towel so that I had more clean surface. I also knew that in the last video I had enough foam, so I assumed that the DNA would be present in this video if everything went according to plan. So as you see here, I measured out with the water. I did everything more so slowly and tried to be as accurate as possible. This time around, I also added more dish soap so that I would be able to have the right amount in, because dish soap actually sticks to my measuring tool the whole time. Being that I've already done this point and I've already showed you guys some things that I think you guys all have already seen the video, I wanted to take this time to talk about how everything works for the strawberries. So I looked it up and did some research, and I found that strawberries are really good for this DNA extraction lab because they yield more DNA than other fruits, and they are octoploid, which means they have 8 copies of each DNA chromosome. And then we as humans, I think we're diploid, so we have 2 sets of chromosomes. And then like the different variables that we use in this experiment to extract the DNA, like each thing we did and used was like a big part of it. Soap helps to dissolve cell membranes. Salt is added to release the DNA strands, because salt breaks down the protein chains that hold the nucleic acids together. So it breaks down the strands, therefore they can be able to be pulled out with the tweezers. And then DNA is not soluble in isopropyl alcohol, especially when the alcohol is ice cold. So that's an error I think I had, because I did not have my rubbing alcohol ice cold. I wasn't sure, because it wasn't my rubbing alcohol, it was my dad's. I wasn't sure if I'd be allowed to do that. So I think some of the variables I missed were that I didn't have my isopropyl super duper cold. I also did not have extremely accurate measurements because I did not have the measuring tools to do so. I should have got some tools from school, but I assumed we had them at home. I was wrong. And overall, I think it's really just the fact that my isopropyl alcohol wasn't super cold and that my measurements may not have been the most extremely accurate. I think also I had an issue with, I may have actually gotten the data, but I didn't get it out of the bag properly. There's a lot of different things I feel as though I could have done better if I had better equipment, and maybe if I had like someone really telling me, hey, you're doing this wrong, just because I feel like I'm a learner who needs like a lot of structure first and I can do it myself later. But overall, I think I understood the concept of this and I knew what I needed to do. I just did not execute it as perfectly as I had wished.